Hi and welcome to my beautiful office. Today's subject is the Dusky Antechinus, what I've been learning about its behaviour over the past 12 years. But before we get into that, I'd just like to share with you what I've been doing while I've been studying Antechinus, and that is sharing my knowledge with people that I meet on the trails. So as I'm walking down the trail, I often come across people who ask me, "What are you doing with all that camera gear?" So I tell them what I'm up to, studying the Agile Antechinus and the Dusky Antechinus in my office, and just educate them, spreading the word, getting as many people as I can to know of their existence. Because most people in Australia do not know that they exist. I didn't know they exist until I saw one on the trail one day. So it's just something I'm very passionate about as well as them. Now when I go up to Winton Wetlands, it's the same thing. I'm promoting the yellow-footed Antechinus up there. Met a lot of people at the campsite there and had chats with people around the fireplace. And also the thing that's a little bit more heartwarming that's been happening while I've been going up to Winton Wetlands is I'm running into a lot of other photographers. And because I'm sharing my knowledge with them, they're taking an interest in them. Dwayne, who has his own YouTube channel, is predominantly a bird photographer. So more for him, it's about water birds. He's starting to learn from me about the yellow-footed Antechinus, and he's taking an interest in it. I see in some of his videos now, photographs of them are popping in. And also my new friend Brian, he photographs everything that he can, not just birds and things. He just has a love of photography. He's also taking a lot of photographs and actually searching out for the yellow-footed Antechinus. So it's very humbling to see how much of an influence I've been as I've been going up there. And there's other photographers as well. I have a friend called Susie on Instagram. I'm friends with her there, and she's constantly putting up photographs of the yellow-footed Antechinus. So anyway, let's get back to the main subject, and that is the Dusky Antechinus. Now, I've only learnt a tiny snippet of their lives, and that is because of the environment that they live in and their behaviour. So they're a ground dweller, and their lives are hidden from me in this thick undergrowth. So 99.5% of their time, they're hidden in that undergrowth. The bits and pieces that I have learnt about them all comes from breeding season. What's happening at the minute is it's breeding season. Now 3 weeks out from breeding season, I'll start to see the males come out onto the tracks. They're getting grubs that are eating the roots of the grasses that are on the trails. So the males are completely exposing themselves to danger. They're pretty much oblivious to what's going on around them. They're just fixated on looking for those grubs that will fatten them up for breeding. Now that's just a little piece of the information that I've gotten over the years. More so in the last 3 years I've been able to film that. But just in the last 3 weeks I've learned a little connection with that, with the males being out. And what I was understanding before was happening may not be the case. Nesting box number 2, my trail camera I have in there works 24 hours a day for months and months and months. I just leave it in there and come back and change the batteries. So 3 weekends ago a female took it up. She started having 3 other females coming in with her, which is something else I didn't know about or was wondered about, whether they share a communal nest during the winter in the off months. So 3 females were coming in there, and then all of a sudden males started coming in and mating with whoever was in the nest at the time. this is mind-blowing that I'm getting this information after years and years and years of hoping it would happen. Finally, we're getting somewhere with understanding how they breed. So my understanding at this particular moment in time, after seeing all this over the last 3 weekends, is that the females are sharing a communal nesting site so that the males can find them. I'm unsure yet whether the main dominant female is going to stay there and bring up her young. The activity this week has dropped off dramatically in there. I'm not seeing any males coming in. I haven't checked it this morning though, so it still may have happened. But the other females have gone. The other little piece of the puzzle that was joined up as well with this is when the males are out on the track. Yeah, I'm thinking that it was before breeding. It looks like it's possibly during breeding season as well, because I've still got that male down there now. It's mucking around down the back there looking for the grubs. So is he breeding and feeding up at the same time? So that's just something to ponder on, and you know, I can make my theories, but I can't assume that that is the norm. I have to see this consistently over the years and work things out from there and have that 100% knowledge before I write it down and say that that is what happens. With all Antechinus, the males die at the end of breeding season. So once all that testosterone builds up to that high level, causes internal bleeding, and they slowly fade away. Now 9 years ago, and I haven't had this event since, being able to film it that is having a male drag its body across the trail trying to get to the next female. So it's slowly dying. Now it looks like the back legs give out first, and then the rest of the body slowly follows. So over a 15-minute period of filming this, it eventually passed away. Fantastic to get that. I'd love to get it with all my new cameras, have a much better image to share, but that's for another day. Another event I was very lucky to capture on film last year was a male swimming across the water to get to some reeds so they could find insects. That was just amazing, that water is no obstacle for them when it comes to food. So I watched it for a while, and then it jumped into the water and swam off back to shore. It's little events like that that just keep giving me little pieces of the puzzle, keep putting them on, and eventually everything will link up. 3 years ago, my nesting box number 2 had a visitor, and that was a Dusky Antechinus female. She ended up taking it up, was nesting in there overnight for quite some weeks. Then all of a sudden I start to see that she's carrying her litter. And she left them in there once they got to a certain age, and I got to watch her bring up her young. What I learnt was quite amazing. The difference between how she brings her young up compared with the agile Antechinus, and the difference between the joeys, how they interact with each other and how quickly they grow. So the Duskies seem to be breeding a little bit earlier than the agile Antechinus, and they also seem to be, growing a lot quicker as well. They're much more boisterous than the agile Antechinus joeys. They're much more vocal as well. That surprised me. And when they're calling to each other, chatting away, it sounds like Morse code. Example of this boisterousness is when mum comes back into the nest to come and feed them again. So with the agile, they seem to have this sixth sense that mum may be coming back soon, and they go into the nest itself. where the duskies stay out, and as soon as they hear mum coming up the tree and she comes into the hollow, they pounce on her to get that milk before their siblings do. So get a teat, secure their spot. It's very interesting to study this, and unfortunately it came to an abrupt end. She took them away to another nesting site. So it does seem like that they're very much like the yellow-footed Antechinus. They make several nesting sites. So if one goes wrong, they will very quickly take their young to somewhere else. When it comes to nest building, there is a big difference between the agile and the dusky of how they construct them. With the agile, it's all about making a solid construction that'll go the whole distance of her bringing up her joeys. So she'll take about 3 weeks to construct a round ball with an entrance at the side. So she'll start off with a cup shape first, and just like a bird does, she'll weave the leaves in a fair bit with her nose and also rolling around. Then she builds the top of the dome, and that's constructed just as delicately and solidly as she's done with the base. And as she goes about bringing up her young over the weeks, she'll continuously make sure that that nest stays nice and solid and won't fall apart once her joeys start getting boisterous and exploring the inside of the nesting hollow. But for the dusky, it is a whole different story. It's all about non-fuss, get the job done, bring up her young and move on. So that she'll start off with a very loose pile of leaves. So if she's in a hollow tree, she'll go to the entrance and drop a whole heap of leaves down, up to 30 leaves. Then she'll go inside and roll around to get a cup shape started at the base. She'll nose a few leaves around as well, but nowhere near as much effort as what the agile does. So she'll do this over a period of a week or so and make sure that the base is ready for when she has her young in there. The top is not a construction at all, it's just loose leaves dropped on top. And over the weeks they start to get thinner and thinner. She may drop a few leaves in every now and then, just freshen things up a little bit, but pretty much she's not interested in making a nest that's going to go the whole distance with her young. It's just for now, and it's almost like they have this mindset that I may be shifting my young later on when they get to a certain age. So that's a big difference between how the agile goes about theirs and the dusky. Non-fuss, which is pretty well much like me. Don't stuff around, get the job done, make it nice and move on. As I'm walking down the trails, I'm always keeping my eye out for any Dusky Antechinus that are dead on the tracks, whether that's male or female, and I'll measure them. So from head to tail, and their body length and their tail length. Just keeping a record of those sort of things and what I believe they have died from, especially the females, whether that's just natural causes, some virus, or whether they've been attacked. Very, very brief little descriptions with the date on them and the year. That's just going to be a bit of a handy little tool to use later on down the track, so we can see the differences in, or the variations in length of the tails and length of the body and the whole lot combined. 3 days ago I brought my grandkids out for a walk in my office, and I told them, keep your eyes peeled for the agile Antechinus. We might be lucky and see one. But we didn't see them. We saw the Dusky Antechinus that's right behind me now, getting around in the grasses, a male looking for insects. So it was just fantastic to share my passion with my grandchildren. I hope you enjoyed this video, got something out of it, and if you'd like to subscribe to my channel and get more of this amazing stuff, click on my pretty little face just down there in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. Hit the little bell, you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And if you want to go and have a look at all the other mad and crazy things I've been doing in the past, click on my icon right here at the end of this video, take it to my channel. I talk about photographing and filming in the forest and open forest environments. And when I go on adventures, I always take you with me. I talk about birds in flight and all sorts of things. And when I buy cameras and camera accessories, I do reviews on them and give you my honest opinion on them. We're going to have a browse. There'll be something of interest to you there, I am sure. And just remember, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there and start photographing, filming wildlife. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.